Hello, everyone. This is Independent Conservative. I'm Ryan Bowling. Thank you all for joining me once again. So 5 male convicts have been transferred to a women's prison in TIM WALZ'S Minnesota. Yeah, he's the governor of Minnesota. And in his state, 5 male convicts who were transgender have been transferred to a female prison. Now, we've heard this said before, and this is nothing new. But let's check this out. I hope you guys can see this. This is one of them. Okay, ugly person, ugly. Yeah, I said it. You're ugly, just ugly. Okay. In Minnesota, where Kamala Harris, although they're not going to be the focus in my commentary, but in Minnesota, where Kamala Harris, VP pick Tim Walz, serves as governor, 5 male convicts were transferred to a female prison after identifying as transgender. The 5 men were transferred to a women's only prison in Minnesota after the Department of Corrections adopted a gender identity policy in January 2023. 2 of the men were convicted of, watch this, listen to this. 2 of the men were convicted of sexually abusing children. This is how sick these far left radicals, liberals are. They'll overlook something like that. Woo, Lord, have mercy, Jesus. Help me to keep going. The 5 men transferred, I'm not going to say their names, screw it. In June 2022, Lusk launched a discrimination lawsuit. Well, let me read one of them. It says, and Christine Susan Lusk, who was born Craig Lusk. But here's he says, in June 2022, Lusk launched a discrimination lawsuit against the Minnesota Department of Corrections, which ultimately resulted in the implementation of measures permitting male convicts to be housed in the female estate, reported Redux. So this woman launched a discrimination lawsuit in June 2022. You know, you discriminated against me because I really identify as a female and I have the right to go to this. Let's go on. Unbelievable. Let me see if you guys can see this. This is how he was supposed to look. You know, here on this side, this is him transferring over, and this is how he originally looked. Unbelievable. Luke received backing from the transgender nonprofit organization Gender Justice, which reportedly received nearly $500,000 in taxpayer funds from the administration of Governor Tim Walz. The Democratic vice presidential nominee's office handed out $448,904 to Gender Justice just 1 year after the organization filed the sex discrimination complaint against Minnesota's DOC on behalf of Lusk, according to a review of the public records published by the taxpayer watchdog group OpenTheBooks.com, noted the outlet. The legal complaint called Lusk, quote, a woman who was assigned male at birth, end quote. He began taking female hormones in 2009 after receiving chest implants in 2017. Gender identity refers to a person's innate sense and deeply held understanding of their own gender. Everyone has a gender identity, said the complaint. End of article. Yeah, I had to just talk on that, just a little, read that because, and this is not in any way a scorn against these males that want to be females. I think these people are mentally ill. We're not going to even get into that, okay? But I just want to speak a few minutes on the fact that Tim Walz is the one that endorses this kind of behavior. And this is who we're going to have as a vice president. If Kamala Harris gets in office, he's going to be right there with her. This weird governor is going to be right there with her, endorsing this kind of stuff. Now, let's be honest. The vice president is basically just a cheerleader for the president. They really don't do much. Just recently, vice presidents have been appointed certain things to do, to assist the president. But for the most part, vice presidents don't really do much. Okay. However, recently, down through the decades, they have been given more responsibility. Okay, Kamala Harris was given the responsibility to be the border czar, which she failed miserably. I don't want to hear nothing from anybody. Well, she wasn't, man, going somewhere. gone somewhere. The president said he did. CNN and noted, one of the reporters stated that the President Biden appointed the border czar. Now they want to flip. Man, shut up. I ain't got time for that. That's a waste of my time. I don't have patience for foolishness. Okay, but she was appointed the border czar. She failed miserably. Okay, as a vice president, appointed this responsibility. So, by the same factor, if she becomes the president, she may appoint Tim Walz into some really crazy stuff that will have an effect on every American. See, Tim Walz's situation only affected his state. But as a vice president, if Kamala Harris becomes the president, she's probably going to appoint him over something that's going over something that's going to have an effect over all Americans. Just like Biden appointed Kamala Harris over the borders, and it affected cities all over the country just about. Okay, so you think about that for a moment. Okay, this is what we're going to have. This is what I believe we're going to have. Okay, and this is sick. We've heard stories of these males. I'm not going to go into the detail of that. We've heard stories of these transgender males being transported over to female prisons and raping some of the females, getting some of the females pregnant. Anybody could, man, look, come on, let's be realistic. Anybody can say, hey, I can say, I'm a female and I want to be a female. And if I'm in one of these stupid, overly liberal states that say, okay, you say you're female, okay, you can go to one of the, and I'm a criminal or whatever, and I request to be transferred over to a female prison, more than likely they're going to let me do it. But in my mind, I got some nefarious plans. Okay, I got some nefarious plans. I'm just using that as a, come on, man. I've heard people argue against that. Well, you conservatives always trying to come up. No. The theories that we come up with, most of the time, it always happens. And I don't even want to say if it's a theory. Okay, this stuff happens. It happens a lot. But the mainstream media doesn't want to cover the fact that a lot of these men that want to be women that transfer over to these women prisons are raping women and impregnating them in the prison. They don't want to talk about that. Tim Walz would not even mention that. He won't mention it because he's sick in the head like far left radical communists are. He's just as demented as the rest of them are. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that because this is what we're going to get if these people get in office. This is what we're going to get. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens if, in fact, Kamala Harris, I pray to God she doesn't get in. But if she does, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's see what responsibilities Kamala Harris is going to appoint Vice President Tim Walz and what effect it's going to have on all Americans. Let's see. Okay. She might come up with a program like, I'm going to put you over a new administration we're going to build. Okay. By using taxpayer dollars. I'm making something up. I'm going to create a new administration, administration of gender, whatever. Okay. And put you over it and then push this on all states. Who knows? That's how radical these people are. I wouldn't put anything behind me. I wouldn't put it behind me. How radical Kamala Harris and Tim Walz would be if they get in. And like I said in the previous video, I don't believe they're going to destroy America, but I do believe they're going to make it a whole lot worse. But anyway, that's what I had to say about that. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all. See you again.